Hello, folks, and this is the pre-recorded BS Busters. That's right. I didn't want people to be left out or to be like, "Oh, where's my BS Busters? Where's my show?" Look, it's Mother's Day weekend. I'm going on a date with a girlfriend. Well, I'm going on a mother-son date earlier on. I'm taking my mom to a very nice restaurant for lunch Sunday.
How nice
Then
of you.
I'm going out on a date with the girlfriend in the at night Sunday. So I just I'm like, look, if I can pre-record all this shit and then upload it, it's gonna be great. So that's what I'm
And sure,
doing.
you're gonna be full. You're gonna have a day full of women.
And I would still be away on Sunday, but I'll be back on Monday.
That's okay. That's cool. So now that I got everyone here, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pre-record my shows, and I'm gonna pre-record BS Busters, and I might do this more with more shows, just pre-record stuff, so then don't have to worry about it. I guess the only time it really matters when things have to be live is if you're doing like a Q&A or a hangout or if you're covering a live event like E3 or something like that, which I'm not going to cover E3 this year
I was
because
gonna say,
I got to work.
please, if you're doing that, let somebody know.
I'm not. Well, I'm just not covering E3 this year because basically, I mean, it's a waste of time to just sit there. Man, wonder
And
what's
I was gonna say, and Pinky and I both know who's gonna turn up trash this year,
EA, I don't
likely.
know. Ubisoft, Microsoft. We're gonna drop another car from the ceiling. Yeah, folks. Xbox. Yeah. It's like, what's your sales numbers? Well, we can't tell you about that. Why are you always asking us questions like our sales numbers? But anyway, but before we get any further, we go off on tangents around here. That we do. That happens sometimes. But without much ado, I'll let the lady introduce herself first.
Salutations, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. This is Joy Moonstar, the Gaming Mage, and I welcome you to a interesting version of the podcast.
That's right. And Pinky.
And this is being done for Video Game Facts. And I got plenty of articles to discuss
It's great.
for
It's
the
great.
PS Busters.
We can dive into the bullshit and bust it while we're diving into it. And this is Mr. Red Fox with, a pre-recorded BS Busters because I'm pretty sure people have shit they want to do this weekend. And just some stuff came up with me where I'm just like, there's no way I can juggle all this. So, it's all pre-recorded.
Perhaps I should start first.
Go ahead.
You guys remember how Capcom was promoting the original Street Fighter II SNES cartridges to celebrate 25th anniversary?
Yeah.
They're doing another one?
Yeah, they're doing another one with Mega Man 2 and Mega Man X.
That's kind of good, but I'm a little worried because
Yeah, because remember,
It's Capcom.
because those warning labels that they might overheat your SNES system.
Which is
that's what I was
weird.
remembering.
Which is weird because my original copy of Street Fighter 2 just plays just fine on my SNES. Why would a new one overheat? I don't get that.
Bad parts assembly.
I think Capcom once again going cheap. Because Capcom loves to go cheap. They're like, look, why spend $2 when you can spend $1?
And they both cost $100, and
Yeah, but they're like collector's edition type stuff. I mean, personally, I don't think these are meant to be played. Like you can play them, but they're not meant to be played. They're basically there so that people can come to your house or you can show off your Twitter. Hey, I got the Mega Man X special anniversary edition. Which, to be fair, Mega Man X is really good. But you can get it in so many stuff these days. You can get it in the Mega Man X collection coming out. You can get it on the Wii U eShop. I mean, I love Mega Man X, but seriously, you can get it on the 3DS eShop, I think.
Yeah, though people are gonna complain because for one version, if you're going physical, you have to download the other.
No. It's each. Like one is $100 and the other is $100, but you can get either one. Yeah, they're not together. No, but for the Mega Man collection, yeah, it's you can either buy them individually, I think, for some of them, or you can or for the original Mega Man collection. For the X collection, it's like by half. Like you can either get one half or the other half. But if you get it physically, you're still gonna get downloads the other half, which is weird.
That's what I was talking about.
But that's just Capcom being cheap, because that's what they do. They're just really fucking cheap. You know, like I said, why spend $2 when you can spend one? That's Capcom.
Of course.
All right. Moving on. Nintendo is also re-releasing the Famicom Mini in Japan, but with a twist. They're all going to be Shonen Jump NES games.
And before anybody says anything, Goku is not confirmed for Smash.
I made a joke about that in my article.
I mean, like Shonen Jump's a really big deal. As a matter of fact, most of the Jump, most of the youth manga magazines in Japan are a big deal. Even though like distributorship is kind of down, it's still it's a cultural thing in Japan. So, I mean, it's good. I mean, I wish there was a way for this to be released in America, but there's licensing issues and shit like that. So
I was about to say licensing issues. I thought it was lawyers crossing paths all over the place with that.
well, yeah. I mean, I mean that's the reason why certain games just never came to America, even if they weren't that expensive to make or anything. It was just a license issue. It's the reason why Super Robot Wars, like the mainline games in that series that use like Gundam and Mazinger and Macross and
God, even Mike Sanders the 13th, I remember now.
Like,
all those good ones, they
yeah.
are not coming because of licensing crossfire.
Because different people hold the license, so it's like because by the time a company pays out all those licensing fees in America, because different people hold the license in America and in Europe and stuff like that, it's like they're not going to make any money, so why bother? Which is why a game like Tatsunoko versus Capcom is so amazing, because you have all those characters from Tatsunoko, some of which are held by different licensing companies in America, coming to America. But I think that was like the perfect time. I would love a sequel to Tatsunoko versus Capcom. I think that's one of the best 2D fighters Capcom's made in a long time. But yeah, it was fairly good. And plus, I liked G-Force and Kashan. G-Force. I used to watch that anime when I was a little kid. But yeah, it was except if you ever want to have something destroy your childhood dreams, watch the Japanese version of G-Force where they have the transvestite hermaphrodite villain. It's like, what the fuck? Because as a kid, it was scored differently. Like the dude was a dude, but in the Japanese version, it's a transsexual hermaphrodite villain. It's like, what the fuck, man?
So, things that never get across the ocean, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of animes that are like that, where like
as I said, there are some things that will never be seen across the ocean.
Like the American version is so much different than the American version of Power Rangers, right? There was a monster in the second season when they got the White Tiger Zord and the like the Dragon Zord and the Red Dragon Zord and all that shit, the Blue Unicorn Zord, all that stuff. And there's a monster in the second season that they fight that's like in the American version, it's a lipstick monster. It's like, oh, it's a lipstick monster. Oh, it came out of Kelly's handbag. In the Japanese version, it's a vibrator. It's a vibrator monster. like there's a scene where she incapacitates the female rangers in the American version, like, no, in the Japanese version, you know exactly what that monster's doing to incapacitate those female villains. And it's like, oh,
I'm sorry. Now you just gave me some memory flashbacks that now makes weirder sense than I should want to know.
It's like, no, the Pink Ranger. It's like, we have to help them. Pink Ranger's like hell, you will. Another 5 minutes. 5. Okay, I'm done. Okay, now you stop the monster. But anyway, yeah, but it was a very. It was, I mean, but that's Japan for you. Like here's the weird thing about Japan is that there's some things that are like, oh my god, like they're kind of prudish on, and other things they aren't. Like they have Docomo, the poop mascot.
Um, I'm not sure I want to know now.
Well, I mean, you've probably seen it. Like it looks like the poop emoji, except it's got these little cute eyes and feet, and it walks around. It's the Docomo poop.
Thank you for reminding me of the Emoji Movie.
Well, it looks like an emoji. It's not, because Docomo came before the Emoji Movie. And in Japan, it's like they have like little shows where they teach young children how to be potty trained and use the bathroom and stuff. And they have the little poop mascots and stuff. And like here in America, it's like ew, but in Japan, they're like, yeah, people shit. If you eat, you're gonna have to get rid of it somehow. Unless you're gonna puke all the time, which that'd be unhealthy.
As I said, some things are best left unknown.
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, it's like I wish this Shonen Jump thing would come to America, but like I said, it would be a friggin' licensing issue. Like no one would be able to get that.
And also, there's Dragon Quest, the only non-Shonen Jump game on this list.
Yeah, but Dragon Quest had I believe when the first Dragon Quest came out, there was a Shonen Jump manga, like short run manga that came out that was in Shonen Jump that explained the plot and the story and the setting and stuff like that. So yeah, it was short run. It was like only like 4 or 5 weeks. But you have to remember, Dragon Quest is huge in Japan. Like Dragon Quest kicks Final Fantasy's ass in Japan. People love that shit in Japan, which is weird. Because here in America, it used to be Final Fantasy, and Dragon Quest just ate a dog's lunch, but it's different now. Continue with that plot. I gotta go get something to drink.
Though seriously, it makes me wonder how come Dragon Quest never got as popular as it did in the U.S. when Final Fantasy started to take a dive.
Yeah, same here. Especially now that Dragon Ball Z has become popular to the mainstream, followed by Dragon Quest having the same art style as Dragon Ball. You would think that it will gain more traction in the West because of Dragon Ball Z's popularity.
Yeah, kind of weird when you think about it, especially since Dragon Ball Super is getting a real kick in the asteroids in ratings, as in a boost up, that is. Though in short, I think it's going to be suffering because it's paired up with Dragon Ball Z Kai, the final chapters right now. At least is with Toonami.
So, hey, remember in the last podcast I mentioned how this Microsoft fanboy was telling me how the Switch is complete garbage.
Yeah.
Because it was over. Well, he's giving me proof. He's giving me proof that the Switch that people are having issues with the Switch overheating, and even as close as 5 months ago or something.
Okay.
I'm trying not to laugh.
Oh, and he also said he's not interested in buying the Nintendo Switch for the online service because. When I asked him, what about Xbox Live? And he said he's not interested in paying for an Xbox Live. So nowadays he only plays on his laptop.
Okay. I mean, that's his
I'm trying not to laugh because
look, here's the thing. That's his choice. He can do whatever the hell he wants. I personally like here's the thing. I'm not happy with Nintendo's online paid service. I find it to be kind of mediocre, actually.
I find it good and sad at the same time, because sad, it's now everybody's you have to pay for. Happy because at least now I know what's going to happen. And sad because people are being stupid about it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind that a year and it only costs $20 a year. But considering how I tend to forget.
Shantae, half
when my online expiration date is near, I tend to forget to buy a Nintendo point
A
card.
renewal, yeah, they'll let you know. They'll be like, hey, your shit's getting kind of your subscription is almost up.
Yeah,
You need to
that
renew it. Yeah, they'll
I
let you
do
know.
that with. That's with. I have that kind of thing with Nintendo's Pokemon Bank.
Yeah,
Same here.
and I mean, here's the thing. Like $19 is not that bad. I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, those bastards. My problem with all this stuff is just it's very like how can I put this? Um,
Archaic.
well, no, the reason I'm not like enthralled with the Nintendo's online is just because to me it's just very like um, how can I put this? It's like okay, I'm paying this for this, but it's not like the best shit ever. You know what I mean? It's not like oh my god, this is the
Right.
best shit ever.
It's basic service.
It's basic service, and I mean, like I said, the onus when you have an online service, the heavy lifting is done by your ISP, which I'm already paying for. So why the whatever? You know, look, if you want to play these games, you got to play them online. Fortunately, I'm a Nintendo fan that keeps my old games. So if I want to play Smash Brothers without paying for online, I can always play Smash 4 or you know.
Yeah, but there's games that are clearly multiplayer that have better feel when you're with others.
Yeah,
Which
yeah. Which I mean, you know, that's the price of doing business. I mean, I'm not happy about it, but that's just the way things got to be. You know.
yeah.
Now, moving on to more BS, we could discuss about Capcom with their latest BS.
Their bullshit that they're always
If I remember
doing.
right, they pulled some BS with double X for the Switch.
Yep,
What
when they
Switch?
Monster Hunter Trip Double X.
Oh, you mean how they were like, yeah, we can't bring this game over, and then once they claimed that Monster Hunter World sold really well, when actually it shipped really well. We don't know how well it sold yet because we don't know how much it sold through. So, you know, once
Yeah.
again, Capcom bullshitting people. It sold so
I,
well.
I was gonna say Capcom taking a page out of Sony
Yeah, it
and
sold
BS
so
in the
well.
numbers.
It sold so well. I'm like, where's the evidence of this? Well, shipped is sold, which are two completely different things.
Yeah. In fact, we repelled somebody just when they saw what we were talking about.
Well, because they are two different things. I mean, but Microsoft does the same thing. They were like, yeah, we shipped like 3 million Xbox Ones. Like, here's the thing. Shipping does not equal sold. They're two completely different things.
And here's another thing. One of the users from the now defunct website that cannot be named tried to defend Capcom's decision to bring it to the West, saying that, I mean, Monster Hunter games typically take around a year or so to localize. Monster Hunter World was the exception due to Capcom's Western home console focus, which obviously worked out for them in the end. And then when I mentioned how Capcom previously stated that they weren't going to bring Double Cross to the West, he started his recent response was laughing at me believing what Capcom says about that game not coming to the West.
Well, I mean, let's just keep it real, okay? Let's use a little bit of logic here. The truth is that Monster Hunter World probably didn't sell as well as Capcom thought it was going to sell. And they're like, shit, we need to make some extra money here. So what they did is they're bringing, because they know that Nintendo owners are probably going to buy it for the Switch. I'm not, because I'm not a huge Monster Hunter fan. Like Monster Hunter doesn't.
I only got one Monster Hunter game, and that's a little difficult for me even.
Well, it's not so much that; it's just like the particular gaming itch that Monster Hunter scratches. I already scratched years ago, because basically when I was in college, I had my GameCube and I would play Phantasy Star Online. like all the time. And basically, Monster Hunter is like a more actiony version of uh, Phantasy Star, because basically in Phantasy Star Online, you're grinding continuously in order to get more powerful weapons and items, so that you can basically fight more powerful enemies on higher difficulties in order to earn more shit. That's all you do. And I don't have anything against that, but it to me it doesn't do anything for me as a gamer. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I'm not like enthralled with that type of gameplay. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I mean,
Yeah, Monster Hunter is not my cup of tea either because of how complex because of how long it'll take to kill just one monster,
no, I mean, I do
and
think
all the complexity is just to kill one.
I do think that there is I think there is an audience for Monster Hunter. Just for me personally, that type of
It's
gameplay where you're just
it's niche of the
constantly,
niche, right?
well, I already played the shit out of games that do that, and I had that itch scratched, which was Phantasy Star Online. Like I don't want to play a game like that again, where I'm just like running around killing, killing enemies so that I can collect items, so that I can craft shit in order to become more powerful. Like I've played that before. I don't want to do it again. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I don't need to do that repeatedly over and over and over again, which is what happens with Monster Hunter.
Because the reason is,
I mean that's why I don't like Monster Hunter, is that it's basically just that over and over and over and over again. And I can't. I've already done that. I'm not doing it again. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's like you already got that itch of defeating huge creatures and powerful monsters, and in a sense, it hasn't came back since. At least as far as you could go for, right?
Yeah, it's like I've already done that. I don't need to do it again. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to do that. Again. I don't need it. So you know, and that's okay. Like here's the thing. Here's what people tend to forget. Not every game
It's
needs
meant for everybody.
exactly. Now I know some people who love Monster Hunter. They're like, man, I love Monster Hunter. I love this game. Good for you. Doesn't do shit for me, but if you enjoy Monster Hunter, knock yourself out. I personally am not interested.
nah.
It'd be like trying to watch Sega trying to make card games.
I think they have card games though.
Now,
It doesn't do anything for me, but everyone's different. Everyone has stuff that they enjoy, but Monster Hunter doesn't do shit for me just because I'm that type of gamer. Like I've already scratched that particular gaming itch, and I don't need to do it again.
and now some recent news that's presently one of those top 10 anime plot twists. This this series title this series by Idea Factory titled Automate, which is a visual novel series that's known to be posting noticed to be released on the Vita, are now coming to the Switch.
So basically, the Switch is the new Vita
Yep.
for a lot of these Japanese companies.
I'm sorry, that hurts.
You know what's
Did you-
sad is that they could have put these games on the. They could have put these games on the 3DS, but they were just so douchey about it,
Uh-huh.
They could have saved themselves some coin and made it green and made some black. And yet, they went the stupid route.
I mean, but there's a lot of games like that. Like, there's a lot of games where it's like, this shit could have been on the. This game could have been on the 3DS. No, I'll put it on the Vita, and then it does okay in Japan, but does shit nowhere else. I'm like, whatever, dude.
And let's see more. Let's see any other news lately. It's BS related.
I was gonna say before we got Square's neck.
Square
Right.
Enix, these motherfuckers. I'm sorry. Square Enix just doesn't do anything for me. They haven't. Square Enix hasn't made a game that I've really enjoyed in years. Like I got Dragon Quest Builders 1 on Steam. It's not. It doesn't do shit for me. I know some people like that game. I'm like, kind of sucks.
So recently, IGN posted a new video talking about still pushing the single player games are dying agenda.
Mm-hmm.
They already made an article.
Other BS.
Though Mr. Red Fox has already made a comment saying how it's missing an important piece of this topic, saying how single player games are indeed dying in terms of the casual audience.
Oh yeah. Like casuals, yeah, because casuals just want to play a game with their friends and call it a day, right?
Right.
But like casuals make up the larger part of the audience. Now, the problem is that essentially, like, casuals make up the larger audience, and we as we as the core people, we don't have that luxury, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I wish it was different, but what can you do?
Try to inform the common gamer, but then again,
no, they don't care, because the casuals just want to play with their friends and call it a day.
I know, but give them something to entertain while they're not with friends is probably something that could be giving them a chance to grow into a gamer. But
no, they just want to do the bare minimum and be happy with that. Okay, they want to buy their game, play with their friends, and move on. Now, for us core gamers, we like single player experiences. Like, I haven't played Splatoon in a long time. Not because Splatoon is a bad game, because it's very heavy. It's very multiplayer centric, and I've been playing
XC2.
Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and that game is not a single player game. I mean, it's not a multiplayer game. It's a single player game. So for me, I like that game. Like, I like the fact that I don't have to go online and get people together. I can just go and play that game and call it a day.
Right.
With me, I actually got an RPG Mario Odyssey for single player and Splatoon for multiplayer.
All right.
And now for the final article before we move on with Square Enix, Gunpei Yokoi. It turns out that he left Nintendo because he promised himself that when he turns 55, he'll become independent.
Okay.
And people were saying that he left because of Nintendo.
That he left because of the Virtual Boy's failure.
I personally thought. I mean, I still think that he was kind of forced out. He was encouraged to leave because they were like, okay, like basically we can't have it looking like this big commercial failure. Which really, like I've said before, the only real commercial failure Nintendo has had was the Virtual Boy. That's the only commercial failure they had.
Since it lasted under a year.
Well, no, it's not even how long it lasted on the market. It just was. It's the only real commercial failure Nintendo had. Because basically it sold less than 1 million. It sold less than 100,000 units, and it only
had about 11 games.
Well, no, it only sold for a year. It was only on sale for a year. So basically, it's the only complete and total commercial failure for Nintendo. Everyone's like, well, the Wii U was a commercial disappointment. It wasn't like a total failure, not like the Virtual Boy. And I have a Virtual Boy, so I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Still have one collecting dust.
You have one, or
Do you have one collecting dust?
all right?
Do you?
Virtual Boy.
I said, do you have one collecting dust? Because I obviously don't own one.
No, there's a few games that are good for it. The Wario Land on is really good.
Yeah, there's currently a rumor that Virtual Warland will be getting a remake for the 3DS.
Well, the Wario Land for the game is actually really good. Like, I mean, the thing is like every system has some games that are good on it. Like, you can't just be like, man, fuck this game because it doesn't have this. Like, there's certain games that are really good. I think what people make a mistake about is that they conflate a game being good with it selling well. And there's some games that sell really well that are garbage. I mean, look at Call of Duty.
Enough said.
Or the Madden games.
Yeah, or FIFA. I mean, those aren't like traditionally good games. I mean, they're money sinks. They sell well, but they aren't good. Like you aren't getting a lot of value for what you're spending it on. Like, and yet people buy those games repeatedly. I'm not sure why, but they do.
No, with that out of the way, we can now discuss about the BS behind Square Enix this time.
Yeah, let's get into it.
And what did Square Enix do this time around?
If anybody hasn't been paying attention, their magnum opus, Final Fantasy VII, is being remade. And people are starting to hear cracks in the floor with it, thanks to development issues.
You mean with Cyber Connect?
Yep. And how they basically scrapped everything that they've done and tried to do it in-house.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And
why?
Also, according to a Walmart Canada leak of E3 games, it's also getting an Xbox One version.
What?
Well, it makes sense. Look, they have spent so much money making this game that it just, like, here's the thing. Square Enix has been making some bad business choices, and they've kind of run out of money a little bit, okay?
I'm surprised they haven't gotten desperate enough to put it on the Switch. Oh, wait.
Shit. The way they've been losing money, it could happen.
I'll post the link for Jewel so she can see it herself.
Oh, God.
Well, I wish I could, but I'm playing a game while I'm talking with you.
Well, you're talking to us.
Yeah.
Right.
It's shiny.
I understand.
So yeah, pretty much all the footage that we saw from the first Final Fantasy remake trailer, that no longer exists.
Yeah. And first of all, why would you farm this game out? Like, this is one of your biggest. This is like Nintendo farming out Mario. Like, Final Fantasy is literally your fucking baby, and you're gonna farm that out like that. Like, Square Enix does some shit where I'm just like, look, that's just stupid.
At Square Enix, they've been making a lot of dumb decisions in the past decade or so.
15 years. And the first one was getting in bed with Sony. And it's just been downhill from there. It's like, you're holding me back, Nintendo, really? Like, you wouldn't exist if it wasn't for basically Final Fantasy becoming a household name, and it wasn't because of Square Enix, okay? I know, even though, it's because of Sony, even though they love to push that narrative.
What a look, fuck I'm seeing.
What, on the list of E3 games?
Yeah, with these guys. And it's kind of sad to know that these guys from Square Enix just managed to screw themselves over and likely push things back to 2020 or longer.
Yeah, I don't think Final Fantasy VII is going to make it onto a.
PS4.
Well, I don't think it's going to make it onto a. Yeah, I don't think it's going to make it to the PS4. If it does, it's going to be near the PS4's life cycle because if you're having development issues like this.
Oh heavens!
Although I will say this much though, Hironobu Sakaguchi managed to make the original Final Fantasy IV in 3 years with a team of like 100 people, and yet they can't even get this shit out with 2 studios working behind it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny seeing how they went from one team that with under 100 people to 2 studios that likely got thousands.
Well, no, there's no studios that have 1,000 people in it. But you're thinking maybe one studio with maybe 37 people, and maybe Square Enix's studio having 58. So it's still less people, but I mean the technology's better. Like back then, they had to make everything from scratch. The engine had to be made from scratch. The like everything had to be made from scratch.
The graphics engine, the battle system.
Yeah, everything had to be made from scratch. Like the cool thing about Final Fantasy, 4, 5, and 6 was that it used the same engine. So it's like once like they didn't have to do much except maybe polish the engine up a little bit.
Yeah, and then when they went to 7, it became a new engine all over again.
Yeah, and then they used the same engine for 8 and 9. They just polished it up. Which is why those games, even though they're all on the same shitty hardware at the PS1, they look really good.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's kind of sad seeing 2 studios worth of developers still screw things up when it had so much technology behind it.
No, it's Square Enix. Square Enix is like, they will find a way to fuck shit up. That's what they do.
I was going to say, Square Enix is starting to look like Dan Hibiki.
It's like, you know that song, Can't Stop, Won't Stop? They can't stop, won't stop fucking up. They will find a way. They will find it. If there's a way to fuck something up, Square Enix will find it and do it. Because
if there's a pothole, they'll hit it.
Yeah. Hey man, don't step in that dog shit. It's right in the middle of the road. Nah, man. I'm not gonna stay on the sidewalk. I'm gonna step in this dog shit. That's Square Enix. They will find a way.
At least they are not EA.
EA. Get into it. I don't know, man. I mean, I think Square, like, here's the difference between EA and Square Enix. Square Enix does have some games that they've made that I legitimately love.
Such as the original Mass Effect and the original Dead Space.
Actually, I don't like Dead Space.
Ouch.
No, I don't.
And also Dragon Age Origins.
Yeah, I like, but that wasn't EA. But EA legitimately has some games that they themselves made that I love. Like, I actually like games that aren't made by Square Enix. By BioWare. I mean, I actually do like, what's it called? I do like Command and Conquer. I mean, that was Westwood Studios, but still, like, they do have some stuff that I like. Like, I think that people are just way too, oh man, fuck. Like, I mean, even studios I don't like have done some stuff that I like. Like, I like the new Killer Instinct. I think the art style fucking sucks, but The game itself is pretty good. So I mean, EA released Origin, but before they released Origin, Origin was the people that made Ultima. I think Ultima's a good series. I think The Sims, well, that was Max's. Actually, no, EA hasn't really made anything I enjoy. Fuck that. Fuck them. They own studios that made things I enjoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Never mind. I take that back. Fuck EA. Your guys' thoughts?
Nothing much to say about EA.
About Square Enix, I mean. And they can't seem to get any. I mean, like I said,
they're full of disappointment.
They will, if there's a way to fuck something up, they will find it and use it. Like they don't care.
They have a way to go from first to worse.
Yeah, they will find it. It doesn't matter. They will find it. They're like, hey,
they'll always find a way. They'll always find themselves to outdo themselves for their worst decisions.
Yeah, like you know that movie Jurassic Park, where Ian Malcolm's like, life finds a way. Square Enix will find a way to fuck up. They will find it. They will. If there was just, it's like in Infinity War where Doctor Strange is like, okay, I've looked at like 15 million possibilities, and this is the one way we have to defeat Thanos. Like, that's basically, like, if there's 15 million ways and one way to fuck it up, like, Square Enix, I mean, because look how they messed up Chrono Trigger. Like, they messed up Chrono Trigger.
Definitely, especially the Steam version at least, and debatably the DS version.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't like the DS version because they basically, they friggin'
try to connect it with Chrono Cross.
Try to connect it with Chrono Cross, which, like I said, I fucking hate Chrono Cross. And it should have no connection to
Chrono Trigger.
To Chrono Trigger, because Chrono Cross sucks.
Sucks so hard it actually sucked the air out of the room, apparently.
It literally, that game literally just makes me hate. That game makes me hate so many things. I have never hated a game like I hate Chrono Cross. Like, I remember playing and I'm like, fuck this game. But
I was going to say, the battle system was atrocious to me, and that's on top of the story structure.
Well, the story is like, they're like, well, we what we did in the story is we made it so that like the story just, I mean, they fucking kill off Luca, which is just, it's like, if you know anything about
Best
Luca,
science waifu,
you're like, that makes no sense. What?
Best science waifu.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say she was his waifu. She was more like his friend. But
I said best science waifu, as in it's always the smart ones that somehow get the worst end of the deal.
Well, like I said, I don't really think they were an item.
Thinking?
No, I don't think they were an item. I don't think they were ever like like even like that. I think they were just friends. But that's regardless. Like, basically, like, she's a friggin', I mean, she's
a main character.
She helped kill Lavos, and she's killed off by some punk. Like, it's like the logic behind this game is flawed, right? Because they had to give you an impetus. So the story kind of sucks. Which an RPG, the core of an RPG isn't graphics, it's not music, it's story. Okay, if the story sucks, then everything else just falls apart.
I was going to say story and gameplay.
Well, no, because even if the gameplay is kind of bare bones, if the story engages you, you're still in it, you know?
Yeah. It's just that for me, if the story works with it, then, I mean, if the gameplay works with the story, then that means that that you could actually tolerate it to get to the next part.
Well, I mean, I'll give you an example of what I mean. Like, let's say you're playing Paper Mario. Paper Mario, especially some of the later ones where the gameplay was kind of dumbed down for everybody. Like, the gameplay is not the deepest in the Paper Mario games these days. But my God, despite all of that, you still overall are getting a very
Good story.
well, yeah, you're still getting a decent story, especially with ones like Super Paper Mario. Like Super Paper Mario, the gameplay is nothing to write home about. It's running and jumping and bopping on shit like normal Mario games, which is great if it had the level design of a normal Mario game, but it doesn't. That's the, it's literally the same shit you do in normal Mario games, except it's 2D. But you're okay with that because the story is really good,
Mm-hmm.
And people forget that. Oh man, look, if the story is good, everything else is okay. But if the story sucks, then you're done. You're done.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that Final Fantasy VII is. I mean, I'm not surprised that they've been messing up because it's Square Enix, and if there's a way to mess something up, they'll find it because that's what they do. It's like, hey man, let me mess this up. Yes, excellent. So, any other topics before we move on to the next one?
Oh yes. So the Mega Man animated series has now gotten a name. It's called Mega Man Fully Charged.
And
this is Mega Man 11, right? The new one.
Oh no, it's the animated series.
And Punished ensues, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, look, I'm glad. Look, let me put it this way: at the rate Capcom's been doing with Mega Man, I'm glad they're doing something. I don't think it's gonna do that well because I think the art design of Mega Man isn't that good in this game, but in this new series. But if they want to go with that, knock themselves out.
It's a risk they're taking, but it makes me wonder: are they really ready to gamble on some animation to save their tails?
No, I think this is more just to get hype up for the new Mega Man series and maybe sell some toys, basically, because that's where the money's at, toys,
right?
And other stuff. Like this is a vehicle to push the character to bring the character to a new generation, which I'm okay with. I'm not like one of those people. Oh man, how dare they? But because I like Mega Man, I want the character to be brought to a new generation. But I'm a Mega Man fan. I want to see Mega Man do well, but I'm not going to be like, oh my god, it needs to be just like this. Because if I had that attitude, Mega Man X would have never been good. Because Mega Man X is distinctly different from the original Mega Man.
Right.
A lot of the gameplay is the same, but it's still very different. And I'm okay with that. I know people get mad when you say that. How dare you? I'm okay with that. I don't care. Shit. Unlike some people.
Yeah, we can move on to the next. We can move on to the next topic.
Yes.
And which is.
Our next topic is gonna be. Well, we did Capcom, right? We did Square Enix.
Right.
So I guess we can talk about EA and they're doubling down on this bullshit narrative that this is not gambling. Even when they were asked, okay, well, can you give me the odds for me getting a good payout on one of these boxes, and they can't because it's gambling.
Oh yes, EA, the one that started the whole controversy that that loot boxes is gambling.
Well, I mean, it's not a controversy. I mean, if you're taking money, and giving someone the odds, like something that has an algorithm behind it that gives you a very slim to no chance of getting something good out of it, that's the definition of gambling. Like, that's gambling. It's not like, oh man, the fact that they won't just be honest about the fact that they're gambling, and they're like, no, this isn't gambling. Yeah, it is. I mean, you could have just, been decent and just made a good game and keep your budget under control. But I mean, the narrative is that game development is expensive is bullshit, because game development at EA has gotten less because they're making less games, and the teams that they have making the games are smaller than they've ever been. But they're like, yeah, it's so expensive to make these games, bro. Yeah, it's such bullshit. It's like, come on, man. Who are you kidding with this bullshit, man? We know. We get it. We know what the deal is. I mean, it's not that they're trying to make money. Look, we get it. Businesses exist so that people can make money. Businesses are not charities. They're not nonprofits. Now, if you own a nonprofit, nonprofits are like, it's not about making money because it's nonprofit, right? Like, you're not, any profit is reinvested back into the company. But when you're talking about a business, a for-profit business, you're trying to make money. No one's in business to not make money, unless you're, I don't know, maybe Microsoft's Xbox division. They don't care. They're like, man, we don't need to make no damn money. I guess. I'm being facetious. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
But maybe Sega is not in the business of making money. I don't know. Who else could it be? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Any other topics? I mean, your guys' thoughts on Square Enix just continuously effing up, like finding every way possible to F up no matter what. It's like, man, I can't help it.
Well, there is one topic. There's a supposed leak that Namco Bandai is once again going to be developing Super Smash Bros. For the Switch.
Fuck.
Based on some guy saying, based on some guy who recently deleted his tweet after making a statement that that Bandai Namco is using a rendering engine he created for Super Smash Bros. For Switch.
I so don't want Namco Bandai to be working on Smash Brothers with that shitty ass DLC and nickel and diamond the shit out of people with it again. God, please, God, no. Please, God, no. God,
but they're
no,
good.
Please.
But they're good at balancing rosters as large as Tekken.
Man, fuck that.
So you don't care about game balance?
No.
Roster balance?
No. Smash Brothers is inherently an arcade style
party game.
It doesn't need to be, oh man, this needs to be balanced just like Street Fighter or
I was gonna say, we don't need a Melee round 2.
Well, I mean, it doesn't need to be balanced like a proper fighting game, okay, if you're playing Street Fighter, every character needs to be able to beat every other character. I mean, that's the whole point of having a balanced roster, is that every character needs to have a chance. Smash Brothers, on the other hand, is more like a.
But it's also Sakurai's philosophy as well. He wants to add new characters who will also be capable enough to balance.
They all need to be viable. Yeah, I understand that, but what I mean is, it's like if you're obsessing so much with balance, that the fun aspect is taken out of it, which is what's happened in Smash Brothers. Like Smash 4 is a solid game. It's not as fun as Brawl or even Melee. because Melee had some downright cheap shit in it, but that was part of the fun. Part of the fun was getting skilled enough for even if someone got a totally cheap character, you could kick their ass because you were more skilled than they were, right? Because even if they had a cheap ass character, like if you focus so much on making it so that every character is balanced and there's no cheap, unfair characters, then the fun aspect is taken out of it,
But it can be argued that having cheap characters is not fun at all, like Bayonetta.
No, I mean,
people are complaining about how overpowered Bayonetta and
I was gonna say.
I mean, there's
broken.
Even Street Fighter, there are characters that are overpowered. I mean, Dalzim with that fucking long ass reach, and Vega with that slide kick.
Well, actually, Dalzim's not a top tier character in the Street Fighter games.
Man, let me put it this way: if you believe that shit, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go and watch Street Fighter. Go and watch someone play Street Fighter 2 with Dalzim and just destroy people with that long ass reach, which is what he can do. Dalzim can totally do that. If you know,
they've told him down since then.
Yeah, they've told him down, but that's how he was back in the day. That was totally cheap, but you know what? That was part of the fun. Or people using Sagat.
But was he still low tier even in Street Fighter 2?
Man, tell that to the people who got their ass kicked by him. This dude's low tier. Yeah, he's low tier kicking your ass. That's low tier like a motherfucker.
I was about to say, low. He limbos.
Low tier kicking your ass. Yeah, totally low tier.
As I said, he limbos.
Tiers are bullshit. It should be by weight class because weight class makes more sense. People get mad when you say that. They're like, "How dare you, sir?"
Well, yeah, because heavyweight characters tend to be on the lower tiers, while lighter weight characters are top tier, like Fox and Diddy Kong.
Boo!
I gotta disagree with that assessment because I think the medium characters are the best of both worlds because they're fast enough, but they're also they also can hit hard. The lightest tier characters are the lightweights, and they're fast, but they can't hit worth a shit because
I was gonna say
so light,
they're paper.
Yeah, they take a hit and they're like, "Oh, I'm done." Like Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff is fast, kind of.
No, she's actually one of the slower ones.
Well, I mean, she's kind of fast. Like she's fast.
She's only fast in the air.
She's faster than some of the heavier characters. Because I mean, generally speaking, in Smash Brothers, the light characters tend to be faster than heavier characters, and the medium characters are kind of like the balance between the two. But you have variations between there. Like Fox is slower in the new Smash games than he is back in the day. So back in the day, he was kind of fast. Like in Melee, he was really fast. Like he's slower now than he used to be back in the day, and I'm okay with that. I'm not like, oh my god, this character needs to be exactly like this. Like I hate people that are like that. Like this needs to be so well balanced. It's a video game. It's not supposed to be, it's not supposed to be like reality. Right? Because in reality, if a lightweight fights a heavyweight, the heavyweight's going to win almost every time because, heavyweight. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
But that's not the case,
But what this indicates is that you really need to dig deep into the fighting game community as well as the Smash Bros. Community as to how they make their tier lists.
Yeah, and my point is that the tier lists are bullshit because it's a video game. It's meant to be fun. If you're worried about high tier, low tier, all that shit, the fun is being taken out of it. And Smash, I still contend, is supposed to be a fun arcade game. It's not supposed to be, even though I think, to me personally, the fun of Smash has been taken away when they started catering to the hardcore fighting community because it's not fun. In my opinion,
but to them, it is fun. There's no fun subjective.
That's true. That is true. They think it's fun, but if you look at the sales, okay, the highest selling Smash games are the ones that are more casual. So I think Brawl still holds that record, and Brawl is a very casual version of Smash Brothers. Still fun though. Still worth playing. But
Uh-huh.
I think people are way too. I think the problem with a lot of gamers is that they're way too into, especially the Smash communities, that they're like, yeah, this character's high tier, low tier. Yeah, that's fine and dandy, but if the character's low tier and you're playing a high tier character, why did I kick your ass with this low tier character?
Good point there.
Like,
Well, then you should be facing some of the top Smash players like Nario or Zero, and then come back to me and
why should I give a shit? Why should I play Smash competitively when I enjoy playing it casually?
Just to get a taste on what it's like.
Yeah, but I've seen what it's like. I've played in Smash tournaments, and I've done relatively well. Like I said, I have taken down people who play. Like, just because I like playing Smash casually doesn't mean that I didn't have. I was part of that. Yeah, this game. Yeah, I played Melee. I did that wave dashing shit. All that shit that these people are like, yeah, the Smash needs to have this, that. I did. I was part of that community. And I've played those games. I'm just saying that the way it is now, that it's not fun to play Smash that way. And people who think it is, you're the reason that Smash has kind of lost a lot of its fun aspect. Is that the shit is just you're way too hung up on it being like a traditional fighting game when it isn't. You have Nintendo mascots beating the shit out of each other. It's not supposed to be realistic, because realistically speaking, if you want to do real tiers, really, I've said this before, Ganondorf should be kicking everyone's ass because he's got the Triforce of Power, which means no one should be able to do damage to him unless you're Link or Zelda. Well, just Link really, because the Master Sword. I think people are way too into this need to have things be core. Now, it's not that listen, I made an argument that the core people are not in the majority, and they aren't. The people who play Smash competitively are only 1% of Smash players. Why the fuck should an entire game's mechanics be beholden to 1% of the people who play it? That makes no sense. That's stupid.
But didn't you say that casuals are slowly killing single player games, yet they're the ones that are keeping Smash alive?
Yeah,
So what makes Smash
because I said that casuals are not buying single player games like core players do. That's true. They don't. But that doesn't mean that I think that games should just focus on because if games only focus on the core audience, and the core audience is too small, the franchise dies. And we've seen that happen to a lot of franchises. Beat 'em ups don't really exist anymore unless they're kind of shitty, because people the core audience is so small. The only beat 'em ups I know that can crack 1 million, 2 million, 3 million sales is Yakuza. And they built that audience. They built the shit out of that audience. You know what I mean?
right?
So it's but it would be unfair for me as a core Yakuza fan who likes Yakuza a certain way to be well, fuck you people who want to get into Yakuza. It needs to be just like it was on the PS2, and it needs to have these old ass mechanics, so that they can cater to me and not reach for a larger audience like that. Which is basically what people say when they're like, I'm a Smash Brothers player and it needs to be this way. That's so fucking, especially when they're like, we're competitive players. Well, fuck you then. That's what I think about your competitive playerness. Look, listen. Okay, if you just want to play Smash Brothers and you think legitimately these would be more fun for everyone involved, good. But if you're only saying this from a competitive aspect, then no, I'm not. Although they could do the best of both worlds and just have Smash Brothers just have an arcade mode and a competitive mode where it's just ultra balanced. But I personally still would be I really don't care about this because I don't play games for you know, I don't play Smash Brothers competitively, and I think that would kind of take the fun out of it unless you really fucking like killing shit. I mean, you know, being really good at certain aspects of the game, which there are people that are like that. I mean, there are people that like to play games that way. So, you know, whatever. It is what it is. I don't know.
So yeah.
Why did this get like Smash Brothers? Or why did we start talking about Smash Brothers? Oh yeah, because of the guys. Yeah, it's like Namco Bandai's working on it. Yeah. If Namco Bandai's working on it, fuck it, because Namco Bandai is really. I mean, they haven't been doing too well with some of their own fighting game franchises like Soul Calibur. So, I mean, why would they trust them with Smash Brothers? I don't get that one.
Because they're the best ones when it comes to balancing the character rosters.
Says who?
Because how they handle
the
character roster for
tournament. Who said that they're the best at balancing rosters?
Oh, I mean,
is this like popular opinion or is there actual?
Yeah, it's popular opinion.
Well, shit. You know, I could say a lot of things are popular opinion that are bullshit. I can't. I mean, hell. Whatever. Let's move.
And let's move on to one more topic I want to talk about. Any of you guys heard of Fork Parker's Crunch Out?
Is it like Punch Out?
Supposedly it's economics.
Oh, you mean that game from the people that made they made what was the name of that game? What the hell were they making? Shit, I forgot the name of it. It was
Devolver Digital.
Devolver Digital. Yeah, it's basically like a big thing talking about how crunch time messes up games or something like that.
It can if it's done totally wrong, like you're trying to rush through programming and other things, and no bug testing allowed.
I think crunch time I think crunch time is more harmful to games than it is beneficial. Like I think that, I mean, it's like working on a big project for school. You're still gonna miss shit, and that's why games are so fucking busted and broken these days, because you know they dick around for like 2 or 3 years, and then you know in the last 6 months they're like, yeah, we really gotta get this done. It's like, how good can a game be if you rushed it like that in the last few months of development? You know?
Yeah.
Right.
And then they're like, oh man, and then they have the nerve to say, you're being unfair with our
product,
with our reviews. It's like, motherfucker, you literally waited like 6 months before this game was supposed to come out to actually finish it. I mean, yeah, your game's gonna get slammed. What do you think was gonna happen? You know?
Well, they're releasing their latest game on the SNES.
Yeah, it's like a parody game where they're talking about that. I hope they release it in more formats. I would really like to see it, you know, done on PC, maybe. I don't know. I heard it was pretty good though. I mean, from what I've heard, it you know, it possibly could be good. But anyone else's thoughts on it? Crunch time? Is crunch time good for games?
For me, it depends on the thing, because if you're doing crunch time near the end of the project that has been worked steadily and hasn't been having any big bugs, crunch time means that they actually have a good deadline going on, and they could actually do a few certain things, like add on a surprise or two, and so on.
Yeah, but what you're saying is like polishing, and polishing is not the same as crunch time. Like polishing is basically kind of like, okay, you have a 20-page paper to do. You did your 20-page paper, right? And there's still like 6 weeks left before it's finished, and you're like, okay, now I'm going to go back and I'm going to, polish it up. I'm going
Yeah,
to like that's not crunch time. Crunch time
that's
is literally like, okay, it's a 20-page paper. You've only done like 8 pages, and it's due in a week. And like the way this paper is written, you can't just bullshit some stuff. You actually have to show mastery of the subject. You're fucked. And that's basically, people wonder why these games are so bad and why they have such issues, because basically you're having stuff like that where it's not like it's the project's over, just generally done, and they're just making it look better. There's major stuff that needs to be
as I
taken care
said.
of.
There's a difference between using crunch time for finishing up the last details, and then there's the crunch time that we see as in pulling a rabbit out of the rear end.
Yeah, but what I was saying is that generally what you're describing as the polishing up, the project's done. They're just polishing it up after the fact. Which to be fair, the industry has lied to people and kind of they've misnamed stuff where they're like, well, we're polishing this. No, this is crunch time, right? Like if a game's already done and all you're doing is just adding, making stuff look a little bit better. You're polishing it. You're making it look a little bit better. Like what these people do these days is they're literally giving you broken games. Like the game, like major stuff that should be in the game is not there because they suck as developers. I don't know. Do we always have to make excuses for bad developers?
Good point.
Well, anyway, guys, I have to leave soon because I have to go take a quick shower.
All right. Well, we're almost at the end anyway. So, any other topics you guys want to bring up before we move on to the mystery topic, which I just thought about?
Pretty much out of topics for today.
All right. So I guess we can move on to the quick mystery topic. Name a game franchise that just really just kind of like you wish that like has been on hiatus for a while and you wish would come back.
F-Zero. That is all. So
just F-Zero.
Signing off. Bye, guys.
All right, just F-Zero. I guess it's your turn, Joel.
Yeah, for me that's a tricky one, but as far as I could say for my money's worth, I would say something like what is it? I'd honestly like to see Sonic in a party game to see if he could actually do something else besides running all over the place.
Not a racing game?
Yeah.
All right.
I said party game because I want to see if he could do something besides try to outrun his problems.
All right. I'd be cool with that. As for
and
me,
I know that's a left field.
No. I mean, look, if Mario can do a party game, then Sonic should theoretically be able to do a party game. Problem is that Sonic is not quite as versatile a mascot as Mario is. So I don't know.
That's the thing. I want to see Sonic try to be flexible. Though, if anything, if he tries to be as flexible as Mario so fast, he might break his back.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, in my opinion, with Sonic, is that he's just not as
bendable.
He's not as versatile a mascot. Like Mario can be in an RPG. He can be in a fighting game with Smash Brothers. He can be in a he can be in a fighting game. He can be in a golf game. He can be in a basketball game. He can be in a dancing game.
He can be a sportsman. He can be a dancer. He can be a racer.
He can be in a kart racer game. Like Mario's very versatile. Sonic, Not so much. Like he does one thing really well and that's it. Which, is kind of sad, but whatever. It's Sonic the
Yeah.
Hedgehog, so, what are you going to do, People get mad when you say that. Like, how dare you? I like Sonic the
Yeah,
Hedgehog.
I want to see if Sonic can be flexible. Though it's though if anything, I probably get a good laugh seeing him crack his back from it.
I mean, I wish that were the case. I wish Sonic was more versatile, but, it is what it is.
Yeah. Speaking of versatile, what game is on your list of versatile game ideas?
Um, I would like to see. I've already said Final Fight in numerous podcasts, so I'm gonna do something different. I would like to see Dynasty Warriors go back to what it used to be back in the day, or not. Sorry, not Dynasty Warriors. Breath of Fire.
Oh, I was about to call you out on that because Dynasty Warriors has been in and out all this time.
No, Dynasty Warriors when it first came out was like a strategy RPG.
And then it became a beat 'em up for everybody that likes to see people do flashy explosions and kill millions of guys.
Yeah. With some of the worst voice acting I've ever heard before in my life. It's like I'm Lu Bu, I'm Cal P. Like,
Oh
goddamn, dude.
God!
I'm Yahweh. I'm like, Jesus, no.
Who named these guys?
Well, those are their names in Chinese, but it's just, I'm sorry. Like, it's like this dude is one of the most impressive villains of all time. His name is Lu Bu. I'm like, come on, man. Seriously, Lu Bu? Yes, Lu Bu. Not to be confused with his brother, Boo Boo. And his sister, not to be confused with their father, Cow Boo Boo, and their mother, Cow Doo Boo. And it's just, or Cow Cow, or Cow Way.
I'm sorry, that was just so funny.
I am Cow Way. I mean,
They just write themselves. Though seriously, if somebody could revive Breath of Fire to the way it was and not kill you by trying to not be a dragon or else, that'd be excellent. Thank you.
I would like it. I'd be cool with it.
And don't pull a Fantasy Life 2, please.
You mean put it on PC? I mean, look, if they put it on PC too, on also in terms of, also on things, I'd be cool with it. But I don't want it to be like, only on PC, only on console. I mean, only on PC or on smartphone or smart pad, whatever.
Of course.
But yeah, so, oh god, Smash fanboy. But anyway, so I guess we've reached the end of this BS Busters. It wasn't too long, a little over an hour. So thank you for joining. Like I said, this was pre-recorded, so you can't ask any questions. Although, if you have any questions, comments, concerns in the about the podcast or for future podcasts,
don't forget to leave your comments below for that.
Yeah, I plan on doing a BS Busters Questionathon before the end of May. So leave questions in the comment section of this podcast so I can answer them and all that fun jazz. So thank you, good night, and peace.
Enjoy your drinks responsibly.